Watem here, and welcome back to some more Higurashi When They Cry. Let us continue. You already heard my thoughts about this plan last time, but yeah, I'll continue. I mean, there's always a chance that it might just incite them to, try to enact the plan even quicker.
つまりリカちゃんが48時間前にすでに死んでいるのに村に何も起こらず平和だったらこのマニュアルの根本が崩れるってことなんだよ。
That's it, to say the least. Nobody really wants to do such a terrifying thing. But if they don't execute the manual, the villagers might go mad and spread to the surrounding communities. They're hesitant to execute it, but they want to keep the damage to a minimum. But what if they find Rika-chan's body 48 hours after her death? The major premise that the villagers will lose their minds within 48 hours of the Queen Carrier's death will collapse.
幸い、リカはここに隠れているのですから、リカが死んでしまったという嘘をつくのは可能なのです。
Okay, so...
リカちゃんが世間に目撃されたのは昨日の学校が最後。
Well, no, because they got a report from Irie, whenever that was, when he visited them. So, obviously not. And how are they going to, carry a fake body out from their house to convince, the mountain dogs?
だからそれから48時間だからあさっての早朝くらいに死体が見つかったということになるととても好都合だね。
No, wait.
そうか。警察の大石さんの助けがあれば、リカちゃん死亡の偽装は可能なんだね。その通りですわ。大石さんにうまくやってもらって、リカの死体が見つかり、それが死後48時間経過してるって嘘を発表してもらうんですの。
まあ公式発表にすると色々余波がありそうだから、入江機関にだけ嘘を流せば十分だろう。
I just feel there's too many holes in this plan.
しかも監督がこっちの味方なんだから、連中をコロッと騙すのは可能なはずだ。
And then the instant that they discover Rika. So yeah, Rika will have to remain in hiding until the whole thing is resolved and all the investigation is done.
これは考えたわね。緊急マニュアルの信憑性が失われればこんなひどい作戦が承認されることなんてありえない。つまり連中にとって最大の弱点は緊急マニュアルであり、そしてリカちゃん自身だったというわけなんだよ。
大石は協力するとまだ言ってくれたわけではありませんが、僕はきっと力を貸してくれると信じていますです。これは愉快なトラップになりましてよ。高野さんが慌てふためく姿が目に浮かぶようですわ。
高野は私と聡子が風邪で寝込んで家にいると信じ込んでる。でも姿を見たわけじゃなく、きっとそこにいるだろうという想像でしかない。それが実は他にいて、そしてあさってに突然私の死体が見つかり、しかも48時間前には死んでいたなんてことになったらなんだか
すっごい痛快なことになりそうだね。
となれば黒幕たちはこの緊急マニュアル作戦が失敗したと判断して撤退するだろうね。ここで私たちの攻守が逆転する。そこまで至ればきっと敵の動揺の隙をついて富武さんが何かをつかむ。
そして陰謀を鎮圧するために富武が番犬のワンワンを呼び寄せて敵をやっつけてくれるのです。これが僕たちのゴールなのです。
よっしゃー、見えてきたじゃねえか、俺たちの勝ち方が。しかも最高に俺たちにぴったりの騙し方だぜ。 気に入った気に入った。最高に気に入った。
Don't count your eggs before they're hatched. We all encourage each other with a hip hip hooray! This is definitely getting really interesting. Still, what's key is the claim of Rika-chan being dead for 48 hours is believable. For that, we'll need Oishi-san's help. And right as we thought about asking him, he arrived at the Sonozaki residence. Oishi-san knows that Rika-chan is hiding here. He also knows that some members of Mountain Dogs have infiltrated the police station. They've even wiretapped Rika-chan's home phone. So the safest way to contact her, he figured, is in person.
先ほど入江先生にお会いしましてね。
Oishi just casually, existing in the Sonozaki residence. Although, in Renner's Route, 5th chapter? No, 6th chapter, I think. There was that time when he was just, drinking tea or something with the Sonozaki family in Okonomiya.
赤坂さんはうまいことやってて無事ですと伝えてほしいと言われました。あの人は5年前とは比べ物にならないくらい成長してます。あの砦は彼なら守りを務められるでしょう。
Oishi-san loosened his tie while drinking his barley tea. I bet he'd never thought he'd end up drinking a glass of barley tea at the home of his old enemy, the Sonozaki family.
それで大石
So, I mean, they've told me on. What have they told Oreo? Surely she knows that Rika-chan is staying at her place? So then she'd have to be kept in the loop.
この48時間作戦なのですがどう思いますですか？
Right?
ねえ、なかなか面白い作戦だと思います。敵に対する強力な揺さぶりになるでしょう。おそらく敵は動揺し焦ってミスを犯すはずです。それは富武さんにとって掴むべき尻尾となるに違いありません。いや、実にうまい作戦ですよ。3人集まればなんとかって言いますが、若い皆さんがこれだけ集まるといいアイデアも出てくるもんです。
Oishi-san laughed in admiration and assured us that the operation would definitely make an impact. However, he hesitated a little too.
こいつは大勝負になります。勝っても負けても、私はこの作戦の責任を取らされるでしょう。うまくごまかすつもりですが、下手をすりゃちょいと痛い目にも合うでしょう。ちょいと覚悟が必要です。
Now 48-hour operation, Oishi-san ends up bearing most of the responsibility.
こいつは大勝負になります。勝っても負けて
The
も、
police is a strict
私はこ
organization.
の作戦の責任を取らされるでしょう。うまくごまかすつもりですが、下手をすりゃ
There's no guarantee
ちょ
they
いと
won't
痛い目にも合う
investigate.
でしょう。
I might edit that. I probably won't remember to edit that out. Let's see. 8 minutes in? Okay. Oishi-san is planning to retire this year. He needs his pension in order to pay off his mortgage. He's at a very delicate point in his life. While this is a big deal for Rika-chan, it's a lot to ask of Oishi too. He has to risk throwing away everything for our sakes.
私もこの48時間作戦、かなりいい手だと分かってるんです。
I mean, I don't think so, but I guess that's just me.
しかし、私ってやつは
You're basically risking the assets you have, and I don't really see much of a gain for it because of all the potential holes in the plan.
大石難しければ無理にうなずかなくてもいいのですよ。僕たちは大石の犠牲を踏み台にして勝利を勝ち取りたいなんて思ってないのです。
I mean, I do, but okay. Nobody knew what to say to him, but Hanyu broke the silence. She's full of energy ow-owing during our club, but at times like this, she also has the power to heal the hearts of those who are hesitating and growing weak. It's like being enveloped in a mysterious embrace. If her appearance matched her level of maturity, Hanyu would probably look like a mother.
それに
Oh, At times. At other times, she definitely would look like a child.
僕たちは最強の部活メンバーなのです48時間作戦がダメならもっともっと効果的で面白い作戦をすぐに考えちゃいますのですね、ミオン。
ああ、そうだよ。大石さん、無理なら断ってくれて全然 OK。 むしろ私たちも大石さんの迷惑も考えず勝手に盛り上がっちゃって悪かったと思ってるもん。
そうですわね。困らせてごめんなさいですわ、大石さん。
Rena whispered to me while watching them talk.
羽生ちゃんって結構うまいね。年下の子にこんなこと言われちゃったら一言も言わずにはいられなくなっちゃうもん。
Oh dear.
って羽生が慰めてるのってそういう意味があるのかよ。
みー、だって羽生は本当は僕よりずっとタヌキなのですよ。
As though she moaned and groaned, Hanyu looked over and grinned. Wickedly? At us. I take it back. This girl, she really is sly. Hanyu is more dangerous than I thought. Next time we do a club activity, I'll really have to watch out.
ちょっと一晩だけ時間をください。署内で信頼できる人間に打ち明けて協力を求めてみます。大丈夫、絶対に信頼できる人間です。私も引き受けたなら失敗しましたじゃすみません。なのでやる前に賞賛を図らせてください。
Oi-san never makes promises unless he's sure he can keep them. That's why he speaks cautiously, but considering his position, it was certainly a decision that required courage.
大丈夫ですよ、大石。もし退職金がなくなっちゃってもきっとミオンが何とかしてくれるのです。ね。はんはんはん。みー、部活メンバーに協力する以上、そうじゃないと大石がかわいそうなのです。みー。
Obviously quite panicked by it.
まあねおじさんの家はこう見えてもお金持ちだからね。
You've got two sly foxes. Our club's going to be the epitome of a free-for-all in the future. The meeting ends with that. We'll find out if we can go ahead with the 48-hour operation or not by tomorrow, depending on Oishi-san's answer. We haven't heard from Tomitaka-san yet, but I'm sure he started his investigation on Takano-san. The coach and Akasaka-san have to wait patiently, each surrounded by the enemy. They're both in very dangerous positions, so I'll just have to pray for their safety. And then there's Takano-san. I'm still having a hard time believing she's involved in such a vast conspiracy. Someone told me the whole thing was a lie. I might even believe them. That's why I want Tomitaka-san to investigate. She's mysterious and a bit cold, but she can be fun to be around too. Also, I've always thought of her as one of the villagers. It hurts more than a little to suspect one of your own. I can understand what Tomitaka-san is going through. This doesn't have to be an investigation to confirm her guilt. Instead, I want him to prove that she's not guilty. It's too painful for people to doubt one another. Ooh.
もしもし。
Oh.
ああ、何度もお電話をさせてしまいすみませんでした、富武に。
いえ、それより何か分かりましたか?
A background investigation usually takes a few months. It can't be rushed within a day or two. But Tomitaka sensed that something huge had started to make its move after what Rika-chan and the others told him. And it was definitely getting closer. But once it was close enough to see you, it would be too late. That was why he was checking on their progress so frequently.
高野三佐については現在調査を続けています。
Like, for combat group, I guess they have some auxiliary stuff as well.
アルファベットの客員に迎えられるときに別の部署ですでに身辺調査を行っていたらしく、その資料の引き渡しを要求しています。アルファベット語については今総員体制で当たらせているところです。もうしばらくお時間をください。
分かってます。ですが、 事態は切迫しつつあるように感じていますので、くれぐれも緊急にお願いいたします。
はい、もちろんです。それから富武任意の依頼とは別に本日付で入江機関への緊急内定が命じられました。優先度最大。命令書は幕僚長命です。
幕僚長が
Chief of Staff.
私の調査依頼とは別に？
はい、あくまでも別件となっていますが、私の見たところ、これは富武任意の調査に対するトップからの強力な後押しではないかと。
幕僚長が協力？
What does this mean? The only thing I can assume is that the top members of the JGSDF has realized the danger of a conspiracy surrounding the Irie Institute. Like Rika-chan said, if this conspiracy's intent is to execute the emergency manual, then the opposing camp will try to stop that from happening. My request for an investigation is the first step in putting a stop to their plans. So, if the masterminds were influencing the chief of staff, he'd probably try to shut my investigation down. But he's supporting it instead, which probably means that the chief of staff isn't my enemy. In fact, he might belong to the opposing camp, or he might belong to some neutral camp that just doesn't want the emergency manual use, you know, like a reasonable human being. What am I saying? Politicians aren't reasonable human beings. No, it's hard to say if he belongs to them or not. He might just be under orders from the ones pulling the strings for the opposing camp. If that's true, then the enemy has already noticed something, and it's possible that they'll start exerting pressure soon enough. So how much can I find out before that happens? I don't know much about the top brass. Still, for the chief of staff to get involved, putting aside if Takano-san is guilty or not, I'm certain that something extremely big is starting to happen around the Irie Institute.
入江機関についての調査も急ピッチに進めています。まだ分析は終わっていませんが、入江機関内の予算の動きに不審があるようです。
Really? So?
単なる書類のミスなのか、何かの工作なのかは現在腕利きに表せています。
I would have thought that their financial stuff is the least suspicious, because they are actually working on it as opposed to like embezzling it.
口座に不審とは何です？
はい。入江機関の運営資金用に分配口座があるのはご存知かと思います。そこの数字が微妙に合いません。
And the audit officer is having to ask them for this information.
プール金への流出、もしくは不明金の流入の可能性があるとのことです。また、領収書の日付にも不審な点があり、捏造の疑いが持たれています。
Funds are usually supplied annually. For example, if a budget of 1 million yen is approved, 1 million is supplied in April, and the facility manages those funds so they can keep things running for 1 year. So, depending on how they use the money, it's possible to have some left over at the end of the year. If they only use 900,000 yen, they'll have 100,000 left. Then for the following year, they'll be told that they only needed 900,000 yen. 900,000 yen should be enough. Furthermore, there should be 100,000 yen left over, so we should only need 800,000 the following year. Therefore, they can only get 800,000 yen when April comes around, which is 200,000 yen less than the previous year. As some of you have already noticed, the more leftover money you have, the fewer funds you receive the next year. Therefore, it's smart to use up your entire budget. But some people try to get by until the end of the year. And if there's 100,000 yen left, they'll try to make it look as though they've used up the money, even when it's, in fact, in a safe somewhere. They report that they've used exactly 1 million yen, and they get another 1 million for the following year. Yet there is still 100,000 yen sitting in a safe. This 100,000 yen is called a pooled fund or a slush fund. If we keep running with only 900,000 yen per year, then 100,000 will be added to the slush fund in the safe annually. And only a handful of people will know about that money. This is how public funds get embezzled or turned into private money. As we previously mentioned, the Alphabet Project is using this exact trick, and certain masterminds are pulling in huge amounts of public funding. To avoid this kind of situation, there's an audit of accounts performed every year, you know, by the audit officer, and oversight to ensure no one's fattening their pockets or creating slush funds. By the way, it's been said the reason why civil engineering projects tend to start up at the end of the year is that they won't have about 100,000 yen left. Yep, that's not relevant right now. And even in the private sector, there's some other stuff like you purchase assets at the end of the year so that you can have more, so you can deduct more taxes. In any case, the point is that they have to work hard to get the funds they want. Well, that's an example of having some money left over, which is certainly not bad. However, it can also be possible that there isn't enough money. After all, it's only granted 1 year's worth of funds, so you can't delve into a savings account like we do in our lives. That excess money just doesn't exist. Therefore, an estimate report should never show more expenditure than revenue. If that happens, that means there is some extra money other than what was supplied. That's how slush funds are discovered. Never really thought about it, but how do they store the money? And do they get interest on it? It's almost like it was still was under investigation, but the Erie Institute's suspicious financial records could be either case. The former would be fine. It's quite common after all. But if it was the latter, there could be something quite nasty lying beneath the surface. In other words, it was quite possible that the funding was coming into the Erie Institute from someone other than the formal sponsors. To be more exact, there was a chance someone was interfering with the Erie Institute by supplying funds. Tomitake was having his men look into the possibility of Takano and the Mountain Dogs rebelling against Tokyo. While it was certainly possible for Takano to do so, because of their personal investment in their research project, it was hard to believe that the Mountain Dogs could betray their employers out of sympathy. For the dogs to take part in Takano's conspiracy, a huge amount of money would have to be involved. The discrepancy that Tomitake's men had identified could be a sign of such.
もしもし。失礼。今、一件報告が来ました。富武には小泉先生をご存知ですね。旧小泉派のトップです。
You don't say.
近年お亡くなりになって派閥は瓦解したそうですが。
The head of the old Kazumi faction is Kazumi Sensei?
そのトップと高野三佐の個人的信仰についてはご存知でしたか？
ええ、一応は。
では、小泉先生と小高野先生に個人的な信仰があったことはご存知でしたか？
え？いや、なるほど。小泉先生が高野三佐を可愛がっていた理由がようやくわかりました。
これは興味深い内容です。実は小泉先生の死後、彼の隠し口座の清算が行われたらしいのですが、その際、金庫番の弁護士を通さず、小泉先生がご自身で下ろされた額があることが判明したんだそうです。
Yeah, the briefcase of cash that they had at the start, like ages ago.
時期は入江機関の設立がアルファベットで承認される半年前です。
Might have been before we started doing the fragments even, actually.
それは入江機関設立の根回しに小泉先生が使ったのでは？
いえ、その根回しの金は弁護士が管理を任されていました。ですから、その支出ではないと思われます。腹心の金庫番を素通しして支払うというのは、よほどの個人的支出です。
So could that involve a relationship between Koizumi Sensei and Takano-san?
では、高野三佐に対し小泉先生が個人的に資金を提供したということでしょうか？
はい、こちらでもそう分析しており、現在裏付けを進めています。小泉先生による機関設立の根回しとは別に、高野三佐に対し個人的に設立工作のための現金を提供したのではないかと考えています。
ということはつまり高野三佐は造反工作を行いうる現金を多額に持っている可能性があるということですか？
高野三佐は機関設立にあたり各方面への調整に当たりましたが、それは全て表ルートの接触で裏ルートからの接触ではありませんでした。ですので設立工作にあたり その提供を受けた資金を使用していないなら、それは丸々残っている可能性があります。
話が前後しますが、その提供を受けたと思われる額はいくらですか？
It's gonna be some like ridiculous amount, like I don't know, million yen? Yeah, I mean, that's only $100,000.
10億。
Yep, that's a fair bit larger than I was expecting. I was thinking like $1 million. This is, I mean, yeah, about $10 million. Okay, yeah, that's significant.
そんなに
That's definitely yep, very close to Kana-san, but I had no idea she was so rich. Actually, she's rather tight with her money. She never acted as if she had $1 billion yen just sitting around. But then, that money isn't just money to her. It's a form of support from her dear grandfather's friend. So she'd have to save it for when she needed it the most. If the new board of directors had even a little interest in her research, she would have used money on them, but they simply laughed at her. So, Takano-san gave up on bribing them. Instead, she decided to use it now, because her research project was going to be terminated anyway. With $1 billion yen, it might be possible to bribe the mountain dogs. If she has sponsors, it will be even easier. Her grandfather couldn't complete his life's work, but she's planning a magnificent conclusion for it. Shit, those can't be her true intentions. Someone has to be deceiving her. It's Kano-san. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I didn't notice you're sorry, even though I've been right beside you. I mean, you've only been there like 4 times a year. That's fair enough they didn't notice, I'd say. People can be very good at hiding the things that are close to them and their emotional state. Let us continue. Especially once they're resolved to do something. The preparation for tomorrow's festival is moving right along with the Furude Shrine. Vans and pickup trucks are bringing in tents and equipment, and the village youth group and some middle-aged men are unloading them.
リカちゃま、だいぶ具合が悪いらしいね。大丈夫かいの？
That voice.
今日も学校休んだっちゅう聞いたね。長引かっといいね。ああ、入江先生。リカちゃまの具合はどうですんね。
はい。ちょっとたちの悪い風邪だったようですが、峠は越していると思います。ただ、風邪は治り際が肝心です。本人たちにも、今日は治ったとはしゃがず、布団の中でおとなしくしているように注意してきたところです。
So I just want to point out, once again delaying the 48 hours.
ああ、そうかそうか。さとこちゃんも一緒に風邪をひいてるんか。二人で仲良く風邪だもんで、ついつい遊んじゃうんだろうの。風邪まで一緒とは、リカちゃまとさとこちゃんは本当に仲良しだね。ああ、ちょうどいいところに。入江の先生がね、リカちゃまたち峠は越したって言うてんね。
へえ、それはよかった。それで明日の炎演舞なんだけど、さすがに無理がね。
Get Honey to do it. I want Honey to do it.
本人はやると言って聞かないんです。皆さんがやってくれと頼めば、多分喜んでやってしまうでしょう。ただ医者の立場としては、たとえ今日熱が下がっていても、明日は大役をお休みさせてあげたいところです。
困ったね。ああ、お涼さん。リカちゃまの具合ね、よくはなってきたけど、まだまだ安静なんだってよ。
そんな仕方ねえな。無理にやらせて祭りの日に倒れられた日にゃまたお社様のたたりだなんて言われちまうんや。
I feel like that's a bit different from how she would normally talk about the curse.
いや、 村のみんなも心配してるよ。また5年目のただりもあるんじゃないかって言ってね。で、王城家の里子ちゃんとリカちゃんもだろ。物騒な想像してる連中もいるらしいんだよ。
アホらしい。リカちゃまお社様の生まれ変わりよ。そのリカちゃまがたたりに会うときは村が滅ぶときよ。演技でもねえこと言うんでね。
いやはや、まったくだよな。
入江先生、二人を見舞うことはできんかいね。
しばらく遠慮してあげてください。
Wondering if perhaps that this part is rehearsed.
治りかけで遊びたい盛りなんです。
So no one goes to check on them so they can have for 48 hours? I don't know. Well, at the very least, no one goes to check on them so they discover Akasaka Fair instead.
ガイドとの接触があると興奮して、また床を抜け。
そうかそうか。それなら無理でけんな。入江先生、あの二人を頼むな。リカちゃまだけじゃねえ。里子ちゃんも頼むな。
She seems to be more frank and nice. That's... In any case, I will be ending it here for today. I hope you all enjoyed. Let me know any feedback you have in the comments. Until next time, see ya.